Okay, y'all. First off, I just finally broke down and watched the piano lesson, and it was fabulous from start to finish. If y'all follow me for a long time, y'all know theater is my life. So I'm not a stranger to anything August Wilson. But them Washingtons, y'all done started something because from start to finish, this movie was everything. It goes beyond ancestral veneration. Let me break this down real quick. So the movie actually centers around Boy Willie and his sister Bernice, and obviously these two aren't seeing eye to eye about what's going to happen with this piano. Now, from Bernice's standpoint, there's a reason why she doesn't want to let this piano go because literally and figuratively, her family's name and blood is on this piano. Meanwhile, Boy Willie is looking at the monetary value and knowing what it did cost their family, he's still looking at what they could gain from the sale of that piano. And so, as you continue to go through the movie, Uncle Doka, who is played by the legendary Samuel L. Jackson, and who also happens to be the last surviving member of that previous generation. He kind of sounds off as the voice of reason in the movie, and y'all got to watch it to get everything in between. He was amazing. But what I want to talk about right now is how he talks about the family's origin and how that piano formerly belonged to their slave master. And this is important because this movie really does show you how you can still become a slave to the past even as you continue to move forward. Now, this is where we get that division between Bernice and Boy Willie because even though she is scared as hell to touch this piano, she doesn't want us to leave the house. And why? Because part of her is still holding on to the trauma of what happened to their mother after the death of their father. Essentially, how the movie portrays it is the mother basically ends up in psychosis after the death of their father, and she made Bernice play a song every single day. Now, the movie never really said this, but it could probably be assumed that Bernice is the older of the two. And why is this important? Because after her mother dies, Bernice now becomes the family's matriarch. And spiritually speaking, that means she now becomes the keeper of all the ancestral keys. See what I did there? See what I did? So now her brother shows up on her doorstep and trouble is following. And what happens? Much like the past, when you need to address something, it refuses to leave. So now she's staring down the barrel of two things, having to face her own traumas and ancestral trauma. Now let's get to Boy Willie real quick. Now, Boy Willie showing up is really what it looks like when you're looking at ancestral karma on top of the trauma, coupled with his own personal desires to get even with the man who's the reason why his father is no longer with them. So he's working on his own pseudo revenge plot in a way because what he's trying to do is sell that piano to get the land that belonged to the man who killed their father. Now see, here's where that karma part comes in, and this is where things get sticky because Boy Willie knows firsthand how they got that piano because he was there. That piano was stolen from that old slave master's house. And unfortunately, we know their daddy lost their life. But Boy Willie has not been able to let that go. I mean, it's literally got him in a chokehold. So now both of them are slaves to their past. Bernice refuses to move forward by not touching that piano, and so her daughter is not getting the ancestral history that she needs. Now, Boy Willie doesn't have any family yet, but why is he a slave to the past? Because he is so dead set on getting that land, he is stopping himself from creating his own family because he wants to have his own farm. He wants to really be set up before he does any of that. So he's deadlocking himself. And Uncle Doker, he's somewhere in the middle because he was there when everything went down with their dad, and he understands why Bernice won't let this thing go, even though he agrees that he really doesn't want any part of it either. He would rather it be sold right along with Boy Willie, but he doesn't really have any say so. So he's just kind of in the middle, but he hasn't really moved on emotionally from it. Now, what I love about the way that they shot this film is because in the beginning of the movie, they talk about how the family's former slave master dies by falling into a well. Or rather, it's said that he was pushed. And every time these two go back and forth, the past finds itself resurfacing in their present. And then you talk about the theme of water, which water holds memories. And so there's a lot of references throughout the movie. They talk about tears and how her mom cried every day after their father died. They talk about the blood, which, of course, they are the blood, given that they are the next generation, but they're also holding the memory of what happened to their family. Oh, and baby, when the ancestors entered the chat, that was all she wrote. But y'all, do yourself a favor. For those of you that are really about this spiritual life, y'all say that y'all venerate y'all ancestors. Do yourself a favor and please go watch the piano lesson. It's going to do something to you. It definitely did something to me. And the amount of talent that was just oozing across this screen, like, this is something that we all needed. Like, oh, the culture needed this. Okay, so y'all check that out, and thank you so much to the Washington family for putting y'all foot in it. Y'all done put the good foot in this one. Love it.